Hello and welcome everyone back to the VAU mic check. My name is Mike, and unfortunately, once again, Nathan is out due to family matters. And once again, our thoughts and prayers and good vibes, whatever you want to send his way, are with him. Just remember, he will be with us next week, and with his return comes a very fun and special mic check. I feel confident now in finally announcing it. We will be doing a fully improv'd mic check. So everybody prepare yourselves for that, because that's going to be fun. But today is not fully improv'd like it was originally planning to be, but instead we have a nice, a good script, which Alyssa has volunteered to go first for. So Alyssa, whenever you're ready, go for it.
Okay. You always knew Campbell's was good. You just didn't know how good. Introducing Campbell's ready-to-serve soups. Now 7 of your favorites, like classic chicken noodle and classic tomato, come ready to eat. Just microwave and eat. It's that easy. Campbell's. Good.
Nice voice.
Thank you.
All right. What did you all think of the delivery?
I think it could have been a little more, how should you say, smoother. And I understand that was, the first one out the gate. I would like to see a little more flow to it.
Okay.
I loved your voice. It has a young kind of, I don't know, very popular sound to it, but I do agree it probably the pace could have been a little bit quicker. But I love your voice. It's womanly, but it also has a little bit of childlike to it, which is very cool.
Yeah, I like that too.
Thank you. Okay, I can try it a little bit faster. You always knew Campbell's was good. You just didn't know how good. Introducing Campbell's ready-to-serve soups. Now 7 of your favorites, like classic chicken noodle and classic tomato, come ready to eat. Just microwave and eat. It's that easy. Campbell's. Good.
Better. Definitely.
Yeah, that was better.
There was an emphasis on the word how that was a little uncomfortable. But other than that, it was much better.
Yeah. Agree.
Okay. Thanks.
Well, you're very welcome.
I would say, be careful of where you place some of your pauses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's kind of what's making it.
Yeah, like that sentence, you just didn't know how good. If you think, I wish when we're done, I think it's great to go back and re-listen to what we did. You'll see there's an emphasis there that's unnaturally placed. And sometimes we think we're supposed to make it sound a certain way, so we end up placing emphasis on words just because we think we're supposed to. I would probably try it again and read it without trying to place emphasis anywhere in particular, just saying it.
Yeah, that's good advice.
How good was pushed a little bit too much?
The word how specifically. You didn't know how good. I'm exaggerating, of course, but it just didn't sound like you were really saying it.
Okay.
The rest of it was, I didn't hear that at all.
Okay. So should I try it again?
It's up to everyone else. I would say so, but I'm not the boss.
Well, nobody's really the boss here, but I would definitely say go for it one more time as well.
Okay. You always knew Campbell's was good. You just didn't know how good. Introducing Campbell's ready-to-serve soups. Now 7 of your favorites, like classic chicken noodle and classic tomato, come ready to eat. Just microwave and eat. It's that easy. Campbell's. Good.
I still love your voice. When you go back and listen to this, listen to how you said tomato. And I think that was really the only one that stuck out. You definitely have a I don't know if it's a habit or an affectation where you are hitting some syllables very odd. And I think it's because you want to keep this sort of cadence that you hear when you hear typical commercials, you know. So I would go back and listen to how you're saying tomato, but your pacing is much better, and I love your voice overall.
Okay, thank you so much.
That's just my 2 cents.
I concur. I think that we get used to hearing commercials, you know, and we start emulating what we hear, and it causes us to change what would be natural in our natural speaking. And when you're doing, especially something like this, because it needs to be, and I hate to use the term homey, but it needs to sound natural and
conversational.
I was trying not to say that, right? But it needs to sound natural. So, you know, like as if you're speaking to a friend.
I get it. Okay.
So, you know, like it was stated, there's no need to put emphasis on certain words, and we get used to doing that, and it's not necessary. So,
okay, good advice.
Yeah, it's always a good idea, and I don't know how many times I've been told this too, just to go ahead and on your own, just record stuff and listen back to it. Just, you know, listen to yourself with somewhat critical ears. I'm not saying, you know, always do that, because then you will go into your performance with, you know, listening for all the flaws that you make instead of trying to pay attention to the actual read.
I don't know if you guys all use any of the pay-to-play sites at all, and if you do, I won't tell anyone, I promise. But one thing that I do that's kind of fun is every few days I'll plug in my iPhone in the car, and I'll go to Jobs Answered, and I'll just hit play on like one after another. And this is like weeks after the auditions, and I can hear instantly why I didn't get a job or what I should have done differently. And it's a very cool tool to have them all right there on your app and just boom, boom, boom. So,
but when you listen back to yourself, even after you've recorded something, you'll notice that like places where you put weird emphases, and hopefully that's something that'll, you know, stick out to you as something to pay a little bit more attention to. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely like to go back and listen.
and I would say even like if you're auditioning for something, it's good to do your audition, and then before you send it, get out, leave your studio, go somewhere, do something else, and then come back and listen before you send it out.
Amen.
Yeah, that's a good idea, because I know sometimes you just listen to it so many times you stop hearing what you need to hear.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And you can come back like it was stated that a couple days later and listen to it and be like, I don't believe I did that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good idea.
All right. Well, Alyssa, good job on your performance, regardless of what everybody else has said. It's
Aw, thank you.
I liked it.
Yeah,
I
no,
love
no,
your
no.
voice.
I never said it was bad. I'm come on, I'm trying to poke fun here. Maybe I'm just a little too tired.
Trying to turn this thing on. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I was trying to turn off my audio there. I mean, video. That's it.
Okay.
Oh, welcome, Paul. Go ahead
Hello.
and resend the. There's the script again. It's in the chat window.
Okay, there we go.
Alrighty then. So, who will volunteer to go next?
I'll take a shot at it if
All right.
Go for it.
nobody else is ready.
No, I'm too intimidated to follow up Alyssa's performance. So, go ahead.
Aw.
Me too.
Ah, I'm glad I missed it then.
Aw.
You never
you can
want to
go back
follow
and
the
listen.
legend. You always want to follow the legend that followed the legend.
Aha.
There you go. That's the best.
That's what they always tell me in radio. I don't know if that works or not.
Well, maybe I shouldn't volunteer. Nah, I'll take a shot at it. You always knew Campbell's was good. You just didn't know how good. Introducing Campbell's ready-to-serve soups. Now 7 of your favorites, like classic chicken noodle and classic tomato, come ready to eat. Just microwave and eat. It's that easy. Campbell's. Good.
Okay.
Well, a lot of Campbell's commercials I've heard. Well, the announcers are very cheery. I think you caught that pretty well.
You had a really great energy to start with. That was pretty upbeat and whatnot. But I think you hit a wall at the end because it really dropped off.
I noticed that. That was what I was going to say. It sounded like you didn't want to be reading it about 3/4 of the way through, which probably didn't, because who wants to read a Campbell's script?
Yeah, it really hit when you hit the sentence, or when you hit the word or phrase, should I say, 7 of your favorites. As soon as you hit that one, it's like the energy just dropped off. Or you know what? I think a better term for it would actually be momentum. Because you started moving in a good direction with a good, feel to it, and you just lost.
First sentence was killer.
Yeah, you owned that first sentence. That first sentence was written for J.D. Gannon.
Yeah,
I agree.
All right, let me shoot it again. You always knew Campbell's was good. You just didn't know how good. Introducing Campbell's 7. I'm gonna start over. You always knew Campbell's was good. You just didn't know how good. Introducing Campbell's ready-to-serve soups. Now 7 of your favorites, like classic chicken noodle and classic tomato, come ready to eat. Just microwave and eat. It's that easy. Campbell's. Good.
Okay, I like that finish a lot better.
Great punch on the tagline, yeah.
Yeah, much better.
First sentence, microwave and eat, was adorable. It's that easy, good. I think the only suggestion that I would have is, like, you come off this first sentence with such a natural pacing and it just sounds really real. And then when you go into you just didn't know how good, it's like you're at a kind of a motorized staccato up until you came again to just microwave and eat. Some of the natural pacing probably could be worked a little bit differently. But you killed the first sentence and the last 3 were freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think in my head when I got to 7 of your favorites, then it kind of threw me off. So, that it definitely came out in the way that I was reading it.
Yeah. I love your voice.
Yeah.
Me too.
Gotta tell you.
Yeah. You sound like you should be doing, what kind of commercials would you think you'd be best at?
Men's aftershave underwear. Just kidding.
Wait, was that a single item or 2 different items? Like, wait, what?
I can do underwear while wearing it.
Okay, how about Gatorade? Okay, there you go.
Well,
like, the commercial where the orange sweat comes out of the foreheads?
Yeah, that one has always seemed really weird to me. Anyways,
I'm working on the underwear part anyway.
Yeah, I don't think he'd fit Gatorade, actually. There's a very tranquil fury in the tone of the announcer's voice.
Yeah. Like a strangled kind of thing.
Yeah.
I have to look that up because I'm not familiar with it.
It is. It's a very unique campaign. It's very, very unusual.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should be doing Arby's.
That works.
Yes, exactly.
That's
I
not
was thinking
the chicken sandwich.
I was thinking the imaging for those smooth R&B radio stations across the country, like who originally, back when they came into fashion in the '90s, Barry White was the guy that was kind of the go-to guy, but the new sound of 98.7 Kiss FM.
Well, that's a no-brainer, for his.
Yeah, I get stuff like that all the time for me to do it, for taglines for radio.
It's called bread and butter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Actually, what I think would be kind of fun, which I think his voice could fit with fairly well, is Old Spice commercials.
Yeah, that too. Allstate as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, listen, all I need y'all to do is just contact some of y'all agents and tell them that I'm here and tell them, listen, I got the guy that's perfect for what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I've never done
one last read, if I may. My last little, I think the thing that I really want to hear is you keep everything like it was, except slow it down just a bit.
Okay.
In the middle.
Yeah, keep it at a comfortable walking pace.
Okay, let me do it. You always knew Campbell's was good. You just didn't know how good. Introducing Campbell's ready-to-serve soups. Now, 7 of your favorites, like classic chicken noodle and classic tomato, come ready to eat. Just microwave and eat. It's that easy. Campbell's. Good.
Fabulous.
All right. Okay, so do you feel comfortable passing the torch?
Absolutely.
All right, do we have a volunteer to go next?
I'll go since my heart's beating fast.
Perfect.
Okay.
That's exactly the right time to
I'm
go.
getting nervous.
Okay, Rebecca.
All right.
You got it. Don't worry. We'll be gentle. Sort of.
Yeah.
All right, then.
You always knew Campbell's was good. You just didn't know how good. Introducing Campbell's ready-to-serve soups. Now, 7 of your favorites, like classic chicken noodle and classic tomato, come ready to eat. Just microwave and eat. It's that easy. Campbell's. Good.
Well, break out the ladle.
So, why were you nervous about doing commercial work?
Because I have not been able to get a single goddamn job.
Well, okay.
Well, you're still a step.
Probably because most of the people, most voice actors, are auditioning for stuff like that. For any given commercial, unless it's a closed audition, you could be having, I don't know, probably over 100 people auditioning.
Yeah.
So just because you haven't landed any, it's more a game of numbers than anything else.
So just keep on trucking.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I can get work narration because I guess it's the competition. People aren't willing to do long form reads, but I have yet to feel that tickle of satisfaction with commercial work. So
Yeah, you're still a step ahead of me. At least 10 steps, actually. I don't even have a commercial reel yet.
Oh, well, I do, but I'm petrified to send it anywhere.
Yeah.
Just send it.
Don't be afraid because your voice is, I would say perfect for commercial work.
Right.
All right. Well, maybe
I think one of these days we should all sit down together and, mix each other's reels.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah.
That would be very cool. I'm going to actually be ripping this MP3 off and putting a little sample of it on my website.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be ripping us off?
Not ripping you off, just, sampling the show for my own purposes against copyright law.
Got it. So you're going to be ripping us off?
Yes. No.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe.
No.
Want to give it another go?
Yeah. If you guys have any.
No, please. No, you know what? Just go for it. Just do what you did before.
Mm-hmm.
You always knew Campbell's was good. You just didn't know how good. Introducing Campbell's ready-to-serve soups. Now, 7 of your favorites, like classic chicken noodle and classic tomato, come ready to eat. Just microwave and eat. It's that easy. Campbell's. Good.
All right. What did y'all think of that?
But before I critique, we got a lot of background noise, and it's really throwing off my ability to hear the person that's speaking.
I think that might be my fault.
I can do it one more time.
Can you everybody else kind of mute if you're doing something else other than listening?
All
Okay.
right. You always knew Campbell's was, hang on, got Southern there for a second. You always knew Campbell's was good. You just didn't know how good. Introducing Campbell's ready-to-serve soups. Now, 7 of your favorites, like classic chicken noodle and classic tomato, come ready to eat. Just microwave and eat. It's that easy. Campbell's. Good.
I like the little smile at "It's that easy," almost like he was getting ready to chuckle a little bit. I think it added a little flavor to the read. The read was good. I like the read.
All right, then.
Yeah, me too. Even that line that's, I would say, the most difficult line, the 7 of your favorites, you really just glide over that, and it's really...
Well, I was going to mention when you guys did your read that I think the interpretation of the sentence due to how the punctuation is lined up is tricky, because you guys were reading it now 7 of your favorites, but it's really supposed to be now 7 of your favorites that there already are your favorites. For example, classic chicken and classic tomato. It's the construction of the sentence, I think, was throwing you guys a little.
Yeah, because that's kind of where I kind of got tripped up a little bit.
All right. Well, good. I'm glad it wasn't a train wreck. Thank you.
Well, if I may, I really felt the nervousness in that read.
I did too.
No, like, it was really poignant because it sounded very much so like a commercial. Like you were going for specifically what it was you thought everybody wanted to hear from you.
In all 3 or just the final one?
Well, the last unfettered one that I was able to hear, that's what it sounded like the most.
Yeah, I think I agree, because I was trying to do what I did the first time, you know?
Well, I would say, because obviously long form narration is more your style, but I don't want to hear that either. I just want to hear you.
Okay.
Like, get rid of all pretense of commercial, get rid of everything else. Just read it raw.
All right. Like I'm just
talk to me,
talking to
baby.
somebody. Talk to you, baby.
Just talk to me, baby.
All right. You always knew Campbell's was good. You just didn't know how good. Introducing Campbell's ready-to-serve soups. Now, 7 of your favorites, like classic chicken noodle and classic tomato, come ready to eat. Just microwave and eat. It's that easy. Campbell's. Good.
And what did you guys think of that one?
I could tell she was selling intimacy or soup.
Well,
Could have been a little both.
A little more sultry.
Hey, soup can be sexy.
Well, we just figured that part out.
I could do it. I don't know. I won't do it again, but I see what you're saying. It is definitely, for me, a struggle to leave narration and do commercial, because I do have this, this stamp on my forehead of what I think I'm supposed to be doing differently. And because I haven't landed a job, it's even more anxiety, trying to.
Well, I'll share something with you, right? It took me a year, and I'd say maybe 2,000 auditions, right?
Yeah.
To get something. And the first thing that I got, it was very small. It wasn't insignificant, obviously, because it was the first, but it takes time. I had I went through this period and then got coaching and had to get untrained out of all of the bad habits that I picked up. So, I think just working with somebody, not necessarily a coach, but in this setting will get you back to or get you on track to what it is that you need to draw your attention to. Because a lot of time we're auditioning and nobody's there to say, don't do this and don't do that.
Exactly.
So you have to have it built in. And if it's not, then, you'll find yourself reverting back to, and that's why it was good when you said, go back and listen to what you did a couple days later.
Yep. Well, if you guys thought the first one was okay, I'm happy with that.
Oh, and speaking of going back and listening, what did you say the YouTube channel was for the VAU mic check?
The VAU mic check.
Oh, that's the name of the channel?
Yeah.
All right. So, are you finished?
We got a sizable archive of all of the old shows that we put out.
All right. That makes sense. And that includes the scripts, right?
Well, the scripts are not actually annotated in there. It's
well, could you put in the descriptions? I mean, could you put them in the descriptions? That's what I'm trying to say.
Like this was the Campbell's script or something?
Yeah. Like this Campbell's script or whatever.
Yeah, Nathan has taken over that, so I'll bring that up with him. But we'll we'll
so people get a good idea of what we're trying to do in those archives. Also, get a chance to practice the scripts themselves.
Okay. Well, so
I guess I'll go next.
All right, go for it.
All right. You always knew Campbell's was good. You just didn't know how good. Introducing Campbell's ready-to-serve soups. Now, 7 of your favorites, like classic chicken noodle and classic tomato, come ready to eat. Just microwave and eat. It's that easy. Campbell's. Good.
Very clear, nice voice. Too much staccato, like you're hitting each word.
It almost felt like an action movie trailer.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Our superhero telling me about that.
I knew I put too much energy into that read.
It's not so much the energy. Go ahead.
Right.
Yeah. I was going to say the same thing. It's not necessarily the too much energy that you put in. It's too much emphasis. It's too much breakage of the script. It's a lot of hitting things really hard over and over again. Mm-hmm. It's a Campbell script. It's supposed to be at home, just down to earth, laid
down to earth. Yeah, I actually felt like I was okay. So here's a better analogy. Then I felt like I was actually a conductor in a symphony orchestra when I read that.
Try to imagine that your words flow together. They just flow together.
Okay. So another read?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You always knew Campbell's was good.
Yeah.
You just didn't know how good. Introducing Campbell's ready-to-serve soups. Now, 7 of your favorites, like classic chicken noodle and classic tomato, come ready to eat. Just microwave and eat. It's that easy. Campbell's. Good.
You had it in the first 2 sentences, and then you reverted back.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
As soon as you got them now.
It's classic chicken noodle and classic tomato, when in real life
okay. Right.
Yeah, there were still too many pauses.
Yeah, let's try. So I'll try again. Okay.
All the words blend.
All right. You always knew Campbell's was good. You just didn't know how good. Introducing Campbell's ready-to-serve soups. Now, 7 of your favorites, like classic chicken noodle and classic tomato, come ready to eat. Just microwave and eat. It's that easy. Campbell's. Good.
Fantastic. Much better.
Yeah, that flowed a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
I have to do that. As a narrator, I do get into a chop, 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 chop. I try to imagine that there's a little string connecting all the words to flow it out nicer.
Another way you can look at it is you're basically holding your listener's hand and walking them through everything. You're just showing them around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
that's a nice way to put it.
Try to keep it easy. You know, make it not so stressful for someone to try to follow you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So everybody happy with that read?
Yeah, much significant change.
Yeah, thank you. I noticed it too.
All right.
So who wants to go next?
Hey, that's my line. Well, I guess since you stole that from me, I may as well go next.
Right.
It's all right, everybody. I'll stick my neck out on the chopping block for everybody's sake who needs more time to read.
Come on.
Yeah.
You always knew Campbell's was good. You just didn't know how good. Introducing Campbell's ready-to-serve soups. Now, 7 of your favorites, like classic chicken noodle and classic tomato, come ready to eat. Just microwave and eat. It's that easy. Campbell's. Good.
Okay, I have a question. A,
Okay.
It was fabulous. That
wasn't a question, though.
But B, here's the question. When you read as a commercial guy who does this quite often, and you're reading Campbell's Ready to Serve Soups. Now, I've read in books at the end, you're supposed to end up on sentences in commercial work. So the natural conversational would be Campbell's Ready to Serve Soups. It's just soups. But when you read it, you went Campbell's Ready to Serve Soups, which is the stereotypical commercial end up on sentences. Is that something that maybe I'm missing that's a subtle, because you did it so naturally.
So what I think it is Ed, try not to, I really hope this doesn't come off really harsh, but I want to make a point with this.
Yeah.
I think you're just overthinking it.
Well, if someone says read it naturally, to me, Campbell's Ready to Serve Soups. It's soups. It ends on soups.
Then
and the way
read it naturally.
Okay.
See, the art as well as the tragedy of voiceover is that ultimately you don't have control over the jobs you land.
Okay.
Ultimately, that falls on the cast, whoever's casting it. It's their decision.
The casting directors, yes.
So it's just 2 different styles. That's it.
It's just
End
2
of
different
story.
styles. Yeah.
So if I was to try to read it like you did, Ready to Serve Soups, I would feel a stress in my voice trying to do that because it's
not natural
not
for you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
It's just a different style.
Okay.
Honestly, the best brand that you have when it comes to submitting for commercial demos is you.
Okay.
Like, if you try to offer something else that's not authentic, that's not natural,
it won't work.
It won't work. You just
okay.
Gotta
All right.
Yeah, there's some subtleties that'll work with everybody, and I'm not about to get into all of the little details because those are available all over the place. And I always encourage people to do their own research because it'll mean a lot more when they find it. But it's literally just a different style.
Okay, that's all I needed to hear.
So,
and just to add a little extra, right? I would say Mike is 100% correct, right? There are certain things that I just look at and I just click delete because I know that my voice is not tuned or geared to that specific thing. And I would say something like, if I see something and it says a young guy that's in the teens, right?
Yeah.
Not gonna work.
I'm not doing it unless I try to.
Can you do a young teen voice just for shits and giggles? Do you think
I can?
It would be like a character.
Okay.
And that's how I have to approach it as a character.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's not even sellable because I have to change the pitch of my voice. Now I've done old ladies, right, and got away with it.
Yeah,
but But
Old people you can get away with fairly easily, no
right.
matter how old you are.
But
Kinda
to
have
just
to-
do like a young teen, then I have to almost literally EQ some of my voice out of the read.
Well, that's good to hear that, we're all kind of in the same boat, that we have different styles that we can do naturally and others that have to just be eliminated. It's just the way
Yeah,
it is.
that's true.
Well,
All that being said, though, Rebecca, don't let that trap you in a comfort zone, because we've discussed this many times on this mic check, and we're all kind of approaching this like we're sitting in a production booth somewhere, doing a read for in a studio. But the fact is, I have yet to actually audition for anything in a studio. So,
Right.
When you're sending out the auditions and you're doing it from your home studio and you've got all sorts of freedom to play,
Mhm.
then by all means play. And if you want to send them 3 reads on an audition for them to choose from, take that third read somewhere that you never anticipated going, and that the voice seeker might not have anticipated going, because sometimes that's the one that lands you the gig.
And
All right.
he's absolutely right. I did a audition for a commercial, and it was supposed to be a Jamaican accent.
Mhm.
And I do not still to this day know how I got that job.
Yeah, I got an explainer video. Yeah, I got someone asking me to do an explainer video with a British accent. Now, nowhere on any of my profiles, my website, or anywhere else do I advertise that I do British accent, because I don't. And so I jokingly came back to them and said, well, okay, but number one, I don't do a British accent, and number two, I jokingly said it's going to cost you extra, and they actually
You got
paid
the
it.
job?
Yes.
Wow.
So, I pulled it off as best I could, and they were fine with it. So,
Yeah, confidence wins every time, even if it's not real.
Yeah.
fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
But
That's
anyway,
Fake it till you make it, they say. Yeah.
The key to some of the success is really like when Mike said earlier, you're overthinking it.
Mhm.
Sometimes your key to success is saying, I know I'm not going to get it, so I really just don't care. And I'm
The
just
thing
going to
is,
do
though,
whatever comes to my mind.
Cannot be
And that's the one,
overconfident.
right. That's the one that usually gets it.
Well, I think that's what happened with my first read, because I just assumed it was not something that, I think maybe that's why it came out a little bit better than the other ones.
Yeah.
well, I'll tell you what, that's having zero confidence in actually landing the job is how I got the taste on ABC. So yeah. Just go with that.
All right.
Just
all right.
honestly, the main thing about it is don't overthink yourself. Whatever you do, don't overthink it,
Okay.
because that is when you're going to run into disaster. Because
You're going to talk yourself out of all the good choices.
exactly. If you just go with it, if you just dive right in and just go with it, you'd be surprised at how you're probably going to hit it much better than you think.
Mhm.
Well, your read was glorious.
It was.
Yeah.
You did a real good job, Mike.
It also shows that you, very much abide by those principles you just said.
Mhm.
See, the things. So I've been working with Nancy Wolfson lately, and
I love her.
every time that I am on the phone with her, I lose all confidence in what I'm doing,
Oh.
because she's Nancy Wolfson, and I just
Wait, who's Nancy Wolfson?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Rewind. Delete.
She be the queen. She be the queen.
in short, she is one of the biggest names in voiceover coaching in the industry right now,
Tough love, though.
if not the biggest. But yeah, definitely tough love. And the thing is every time I think about getting on the phone with her, I lose all confidence. And then when I actually do, it's like, okay, what she's really trying to teach in the end, what she's really trying to do is, when you're on the phone with her, when you actually get into the sessions and you're covering all of the concepts that she has, it's just ingraining them into your subconscious so that they'll naturally come out when you're actually reading. Which means, it is basically shorthand for, or long form of, it's about training yourself to do what's right in the moment and not thinking about it when you actually perform.
Preparation through repetition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have all the preparation done first, and then when you actually do the performance, hopefully these things that have been, that you've talked about and practiced and done the homework for and whatnot are drilled into your head enough that it'll come out in your performances.
Okay.
Like one of the things that she has is if there is like words that are repeated, you leave them alone. So
classic. In this
classic. So you would never put emphasis on classic. You would like classic chicken noodle on classic tomato.
Mm-mm.
The way that she'd have you do it is classic chicken noodle and classic tomato.
Okay.
It's just repetition of simple things like that you get down eventually. But yeah, it's all about preparing your mind, and then when you're in the performance, don't think about it, just do it.
Right.
Because again, you're always going to overthink it. If you stop to think about it, you're going to stop to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like what Obi-Wan said. Trust your feelings. Right?
Exactly. Just go with it. Anyway. Hashtag tirade. Would you like me to take another read? Was there anything I should change if you remember the read by now?
No, yours was good, Mike. I couldn't find anything wrong with it.
Just passing the torch.
And I look.
Oh, believe me, I've come to expect that now.
Nah, that was a real good read. I think it's one of the most natural ones that I've heard today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that absolutely is mine.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's just because I put some distance between mine and yours. If I'd gone right after you, there probably would have been more to say, but that's neither here nor there.
Well,
Nah, I'm not like that. Come on.
No, I'm not saying that would come from you. I'm saying that would come from everyone else.
I know. I'm just messing with you.
Yeah.
All righty then. So, who will go next?
I'll take a shot.
All right, go for it, Shane.
You always knew Campbell's was good. You just didn't know how good. Introducing Campbell's ready-to-serve soups. Now, 7 of your favorites, like classic chicken noodle and classic tomato, come ready to eat. Just microwave and eat. It's that easy. Campbell's. Good.
Wow.
I thought it sounded great with the exception of just the word eat. It was like the tone on come ready to eat and just microwave and eat. They were duplicates of each other.
Mm-hmm.
But it has a wonderful natural feel that I loved.
Mm-hmm.
Shane, I really don't want this to come off wrong, but I feel like I need to say this. This is one of the first. This is, I think, the first read that I've heard where you didn't sound like you were actually, on air.
It sounded
Thank
very
you.
natural.
It sounded
That is the ultimate compliment.
it sounded very separated from that. It sounded like a whole different Shane that I haven't heard.
Well, it's funny you say that because the actual where I was kind of the mindset after I read the copy came actually from some on-air moments that we've had where, the trend seems to be that a lot of these 90s food and beverage products that were flops when they first happened are now coming back, like Crystal Pepsi. And we did a bit the other day where we were talking, Crystal Pepsi is being put back on the shelves. And our audience, for something that was supposed to be such a big flop, our audience was lighting up our phones and, bombarding our Facebook with how glad they were that Crystal Pepsi's coming back. So I kind of took that and thought, you know what, this kind of reminds me, this copy reminds me of you know, in the same way a lot of people get really excited when all these foods from their childhood come back, you know, Campbell's is kind of taking that same approach with this coffee. And that's where I was kind of going for an excited, you know, hey,
Guess what?
Same thing you remember from your childhood. It's back. And so that
Well,
the inspiration actually came from radio. So I'm surprised
I don't
that
know
the on-air thing didn't.
to know the promotional sound or the on-air sound that you've had before, but me not knowing you, my first response was it sounded really natural. So if that's what you were going for, it's what you got.
Yeah, I mean, the excitement and kind of retro was my first two adjectives when I cold read the copy. But
I liked it.
Well, yeah, no, I I'm still kind of in shock. No, it's because I really liked that read. That was a really good one. Can you give me another one?
Sure. And actually, I'm going to kind of dial it back to Rebecca. You said you do a lot of narration, which is a lot of what I do too, specifically corporate narration. So
yeah, I did a lot of that.
Yeah, let me try like dialing it back and going a little. And here's that word again, conversational. But we'll see how it goes. You always knew Campbell's was good. You just didn't know how good. Introducing Campbell's ready-to-serve soups. Now, 7 of your favorites, like classic chicken noodle and classic tomato, come ready to eat. Just microwave and eat. It's that easy. Campbell's. Good.
It was good, but for some reason, I guess it's like in my case, your first shot wasn't that much different than this one. But your first one just felt like it just rolled off your tongue.
Yeah.
And also to differentiate the eats, it's come ready to eat, just microwave and eat. They follow it up together, which is really dumb.
Come ready to eat.
One of the things that sort of makes it gives it a little bit of differentiation would be counterbalancing it. So if you end off on the first eat on a high note, do the second one on a low note.
Yeah.
So come ready to eat. Just microwave and eat. You know, so high note, low note. Or if you end off a low note and, you know, do the other one on a high note.
I imagine the woman closing the microwave door, like just microwave and eat. You know, so that one went up for me because she's doing the action of, you know, look, isn't this amazing?
Well, whatever feels natural, just make sure to counter it with the opposite inflection on the second eat. That's it. That would be it for me, at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't think about it and go for it again.
You always knew Campbell's was good. You just didn't know how good. Introducing Campbell's ready-to-serve soups. Now, 7 of your favorites, like classic chicken noodle and classic tomato, come ready to eat. Just microwave and eat. It's that easy. Campbell's. Good.
That was your best one yet.
Yeah.
And I really like you're now 7 of your favorites. You had like a change in rhythm in there. It was a kind of a musical quality right in the middle, which I loved. It was the best one as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, by the way, if I may say something about this, well, I think that read made you sound like an old man talking to his grandkids about the soup.
Well, that was the retro.
Like sharing his memory. Yeah, like sharing his memories about he's with the soup. Yeah, how he used to enjoy it when he was their age, and now he's saying you can do it too.
So there you go. You got a little bit of story to it.
Yeah,
too.
and that I every time I try to go for storytelling, I always think of who was the character actor that did the Smuckers commercials for all of you? Mason Adams, was that his name? With a name like Smuckers, it has to be good. That's the grandfatherly to me.
Yep. That's the grandpa read.
All right. Well, Shane, awesome job.
Really good.
So, do we have anybody else who would like to go? Xavier? Takia?
Their mics are muted.
Oh yeah, I know.
Just,
They can.
yeah, just freeloading.
Hey, some people join in just to listen, and that's totally cool too.
Yeah.
No, nothing?
Yes,
Okay. Well, everybody, awesome job. Once again, we're going to stop the recording here in just a second, but that does not mean that the hangout is over. So feel free to stick around, ask questions, and whatnot. So yeah, everybody, thank you very, very much for joining, and we'll see y'all next time.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.